Hello. Come right on in. You're at Father Fish. Nice to have you with us.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
My hands were wet, so I didn't want to use my fingers. Should I just do heavy water changes for a few days? Well, now, we have. Let's recap. We picked up the container of food, and we've had our hands in the tank, so they're sopping wet. And we managed to get the lid off. And we look, and our hands are wet. And we don't want to stick it in there because then it's going to put water in there, and it's gonna get wet, and they'll get clumpy and moldy. So why don't we just tap a little? Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, there you go. So now you've got about a half a pound of food falling, and you watch it as it gently drifts to the bottom of your tank. And your fish go crazy over it for about 5 seconds, and then they lose interest. And there it goes, drifting down. And all of a sudden, the whole bottom of your tank is covered with fish food. What do?
Cry.
Well, that's an option. Just make sure the tears go in the tank.
Let's see. If you have a sand.
Do not. Listen now.
Okay.
Do not put a net in there and try to swipe it out with a net. Do not do that. You'll make it worse. As he quickly jerks his head out of the tank. This really is an easy one to fix. I'm just teasing you here.
Yeah.
You need to siphon it out. And if you don't know how to start a siphon, I mean, I've actually had people here who take the hose and they go back to the bathroom and they stick one end of the hose on the faucet and turn the faucet on. And when the water starts coming out the other end, they quick turn the faucet off. Meantime, the hose drops, or they lower it here and lose half of the water, so they have to do it again. And not only did they now, look what I did, it's full of water. And so it's the bathroom floor full of water.
I'm laughing from experience.
Yeah. Where's Al? Wait a minute. Where's Al wet socks?
Oh, he's here.
to make us, there are two ways to do a siphon, and they're both pretty easy. I'll have to demo this.
Alex.
I'll explain it to you. The one way is to put the entire hose in the fish tank and clamp your thumbs over both ends of it. Really, one end will do, but do both ends just so you don't dump it out on the floor. Take one hand out, and reach it down to the bucket, and then release the thumbs. And at that point, you've got the end of the hose in your hand, and to use it, and the other hand is holding the hose in the bucket. So you're kind of screwed. If you let go of one or the other, either the hose is going to come out of the bucket, or you're going to drop the hose trying to move it up so that you can get some hose down in there. So what you do at that point is you punt. Okay? Try to get the hose in the bucket stable so you can let go of it. Then you can hold on to the hose, move your hand back, grab it back in the bucket, and get down there and in there and start siphoning. That's one way. The other way, which is the way I use, I get as much hose in the tank as I need to be able to move it around. I'm holding on to it. The other end, I hold up above the water level, at least 6 to 8 inches, maybe a foot above the water level, with a big loop. You want this hose to be at least 5 feet long, not shorter. If you do it with a 2-foot piece of hose, you're going to get wet. There ain't no option. You're going to get wet. 3 foot is questionable. 5 foot is optimal. Anything more than that, and you got other problems with hose that's dragging all over the place. 5-foot piece of hose. You got 8 to 10 inches of it sticking out of your hand in the water. The other hand is holding the end of the hose up above the water level. Exhale. Stick it up to your mouth. Inhale. Take it away. The water will go, and it'll come almost up to the top and stop. And it'll be full of water. Just one quick inhale, and it's full of water. Practice. Won't take long to figure it out. Practice it. Hold one end in the water, hold the other end above the tank. Take a deep exhale. Take a deep, quick breath. Not enough to fill the hose. You want to use at least a 1/2 inch hose for this. 1 inch is better. And then hold it up. Watch the water. It's going to, and then you can lower it to the bucket, and you got your siphon going. Very simple, very easy. When I teach my new employees to do that, and they get to get a mouthful of water one time. The second time they get fired. It's so simple. If you cannot figure it out, I fire you because you're too dumb to do anything more complicated. So there you go. Starting a siphon. Siphon all the food out. If you'll do it that way, you'll get all of it. If you try to do it with a net, you're not going to get it all. You're not going to do what bleeds through the net. You're going to be swirling it around, and you'll just make a mess. If you do the siphon, you'll get it all. You won't have to worry about it. The next step is to figure out what to do with all that wet food. You can keep it in the fridge. You can put it in your scud bucket. You can feed your plants with it. You can flush it down the toilet. Or you can let it sit there and in a day or two start to really stink to teach you a lesson about holding an empty can of food over your fish tank. Fool, what'd you do that for? You got the lid in one hand. You got the food in the other, right? So step away from the tank. Step away from the tank. Pour a little bit of food in the lid. Set the food down. Step back up to the tank and dump the food in from the lid. Jeez, gotta teach you guys everything.
Everything.
Jeez.
Joe's tricks and tips came in, and I said, instead of good morning, I said avoid mornings, Joe. Good morning, Joe. Sorry.
Good idea. Good idea.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Rohan said, could you dehydrate it maybe, put it in an oven and bake it and dry it out and chop it up?
Well, you know, that's a whole other riff. How to make fish food.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, then you want to mix some other ingredients in with it. Like garlic. Garlic is always good. Squeeze some garlic and mix it in with it.
Fish go
Chop up
nuts over
lettuce.
garlic.
So what?
I said fish go nuts over garlic.
Fish
Yeah.
love garlic, yeah. Yeah, if you're gonna get into drying it, which you can do, you want to use a what are those things called that dry out meat?
Dehydrator.
A dehydrator.
Yeah.
That'll work better than putting it in the oven. Although it might mold in the meantime, you never know. But yes,
like-
you can do that. What?
What about little ice cubes of the food? That way you can freeze them and pop them in. That way they can't
I love it.
turn.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Let's see, who was it? Was it Blake? It was Blake. Blake did a 10 things you can find at your supermarket that are great for your fish shrimp. And I think that was number 10 was the ice tray. And
Yep.
you would get the tiny little tube ice tray. We got one here in the fridge full of dirt that Frank made up and we haven't done anything with yet. But
I
the
know, I'm
idea,
still waiting for that video.
yeah, we need to do that. I might do that if the shrimp boot fails. We'll do.
Well, I hope you found something you've never seen before. Have a great day. Nice to have you with us. Come on back.